she'll come around. Well, the kind that says you had your chance, but she ain't coming back.
Welcome to another edition of The Good Outdoors on 99.5 Kicks Country with Steve, Daryl, and Ronnie. It's everything about the outdoors. Take it away, guys.
Good morning. Welcome to the Wednesday Hump Day, as Daryl Sample Jr. called it, edition of the Good Outdoors Radio Show. How y'all guys doing this morning?
Doing good, ready to get over that hump, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. We Ronnie-less this morning again. He's still under the weather, trying to get better, so maybe he'll be back tomorrow. We hoping so. We praying for him, hope he gets well soon. There's a lot of stuff going around out there.
Yeah, it's I think we're on the tail end of the sick season, but there's still some people, battling a little bit of sickness, and then of course the pollen and the stuff like that making everybody's allergies kick up, I think is a big thing.
My allergies stay kicked up, man. Mine stay kicked up year round, so it don't really matter.
I had a little bit of a issue, I think, from sitting under them pine trees last weekend and breathing in that stuff and sitting in the pine straw and all that, but ain't doing too bad. Wake up with your eyes swollen a little bit, but it ain't too bad. Get over it a little bit.
Yeah, hey, I don't know, the biggest headlines of the day yesterday was President Obama unveiling his $100 million brain research initiative. We're going to map out the human brain.
Good luck.
And I hope they start with his and figure out what causes stupidity and, kind of just goes from there.
Did you see the other funny the video of Obama playing basketball?
Yeah, I saw that one too. But $100 million brain initiative. I don't know. We're going to spend some money on some really.
The NFL's already doing an intense research program about the brain and concussions and things like that, and they're paying for it. Why don't we let them do it? $100 million? Man, come on.
$40 million for the National Institute of Health, $50 million for the Defense Advanced Research Projects, which is part of the Department of Defense, and $20 million for the National Science Foundation. Come on now, put your money where it's needed. We got to invest in the future, but I just don't think the brain mapping is the best future that we need to invest in.
I wouldn't think so.
But on a lighter note and a better note, I was kind of cruising here last night when I got home, and I found a monster barracuda had been caught. Did you see that?
I have not seen the monster barracuda.
Good grief, man. It was caught in Angola. This sucker was 7 feet long, 102 pounds.
That's a good one.
Yeah, there was a guy. He was fishing for tarpon, and he said Thomas Gibson hooked into a giant fish. He took a scorching run and stayed close to the surface. Him and his fishing partner thought, finally a tarpon. But what came to the boat was not only a huge fish, but a huge surprise. That it came to the boat way too easily to be a tarpon, he said. So he got there and he looked down. It was a huge barracuda, and one bigger than he'd ever seen. Measured 6 feet and 6.9 feet long and weighed 102 pounds. And they took it out and measured it, and this guy's actually a professional tarpon or expert. They said tarpon fisherman. And they're reviewing the world record to see if it's going to hold. The current world record is 101 pounds and 3 ounces, so this one should beat it. Said the only thing they had to hook, when he got him to the boat, barracuda's loaded with teeth.
Ooh, they'll tear some stuff up.
Yeah, all they had was a small lip gap on board. He said, so it was kind of rough getting that close to them teeth on that thing to get him on board. That's a big old fish, man.
Yeah, you talking about something that's longer than you are. That's a serious business there.
Yes, sir. Long. I mean, it looks like a big old. It sort of looks like a cigar fish, He's just long in there and just fast. Man, he's huge. That's all I can say about him. He's absolutely huge.
Yep, they released some information yesterday about the buck wild star that died on Monday. That's a bizarre accident right there now.
Yeah.
While mudding with his uncle, following a night at a West Virginia bar, the buck wild star's 1984 Ford Bronco got stuck in the thick, dirty water, and his tailpipe submerged, blocking the tailpipe, and he basically died of carbon monoxide poisoning.
All three of them.
Yeah, all three of them did. That's right.
And I can relate to that. Well, I had an 83 Ford Bronco one time, but I know what they were doing. They were out at the bar till 3 o'clock in the morning, they said, and they had been drinking, I'm sure. All of them had. So they wanted to go bogging up out in the country somewhere up in the hills. I don't know exactly where they were at. It was probably cold. and got up in there and got bogged down, and the tailpipe was under the water, and they had the truck running to stay warm. They're probably going to wait it out and get out the next morning and succumb to carbon dioxide.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. They're trying to raise money for his funeral, and our prayers are with the family. That's a terrible way to go. At such a young age too. So, praying for his loved ones that they get past that. So.
Yep. And yesterday, the NRA came out with their study. Their sponsored school safety study suggests arming staff members, and they came out and said schools across the nation should train selected staff members to carry weapons and should each have at least one armed security officer to make students safer and allow a quicker response to an attack. You know what? That's a good plan. Yep. I support that plan, and as do millions of other people across America. I guarantee they support it. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a bad thing. It said the task force report says developed a 40 to 60 hour training program that to make available to school staff members who are qualified and can pass background checks. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it, but the left is already screaming from the top of their lungs about it, so it's just unbelievable. And of course, as you told me on the phone yesterday, had me upset the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. John Kerry and they moved forward with the initiative that the UN set forth to regulate arms sales and through the UN. Mm-hmm. Sean Hannity's show did pretty much a whole show about how now the Democrats shift, since they can't push through the gun legislation. Now they're going after our bullets.
Yep.
Announced it last night, so we knew that was coming. I'm a little shocked that it's coming so soon, but man, they're hammering us, man. They are after it,
every angle.
It's serious. It's more serious than you can possibly imagine at this point. So,
and as we covered yesterday, we showed you just some of the bills. We told you about some of the bills that are trying to be passed every single day. And they're attacking us from every angle out there. You've got to stand up. You've got to be involved with it. The UN passed this. There was 154 in favor, 3 against, and 23 said we're not even going to vote on it. But the United States, John Kerry, voted for it. Do you know the only reason it was brought back up now? Because this has been an ongoing battle for the past 10 years trying to get it passed. Because in 2009, President Obama stood up and said, hey, I want to support this. Let's bring it back up. And here it is, and it's passed.
Yeah, it passed overwhelmingly. The only 3 countries to oppose it was Syria, Iran, and North Korea.
Yep.
So on the surface, people who don't know what's going on, they think, well, if it passed that big, and the only 3 countries that were against it were Syria, Iran, and North Korea, must be a good thing. And on the surface of what they're trying to do, to stop the like I suspected yesterday, it's really designed to stop small arms sales between countries or continents. On its surface, that's not a bad thing, to counteract terrorism. But it's all the stuff that they're going to try to attach to it, and nothing's passed yet. They actually. The United States would have to go through the Senate and the Congress to pass any specific legislation concerning it, but we're on board with the program. That's what's so upsetting. So we got to really watch out now. And then you got the bullets. They're going after these bullets, and it is it's a fact that the government is buying up bullets. That's proven, and that's not a conspiracy theory. It is happening. We now have, I think it was 36 years supply of ammunition, and that's small arms ammunition. Now that's pistol bullets, people. That's why you can't buy 40 caliber bullets and 22 bullets and 38 bullets and things like that, because the government's buying up the supply.
Yeah, and I was talking to somebody last week. Kind of, it was off the record kind of deal. He told me that in one warehouse in Washington, D.C., and I don't know if it's true or not, but I feel like it's true from the source it came from, is absolutely stockpiled full of 38 rounds. Just nothing but 38 rounds. Mm-hmm. And the government doesn't even own government-issued weapons to fire the 38 rounds. Why are they buying them up? I can tell you why. Just to get them off the market. Mm-hmm. Just so we can't get our hands on them, just so they can create a monopoly. That's all it is. They're coming after it. They're coming after us every angle out there. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but I guarantee you they're coming. They're starting with the arms trade treaty. The United States is the largest exporter of arms in the world, and they voted for this. So what's that tell you?
Yeah. Then you got Obama running around quoting statistics from studies done in 1997 of only 251 people about where they bought their guns, and he comes up with the fact that 40% of them, they bought them without a background check. So that's misleading. Anyway,
I don't know. You know, people, we got to stand up. We've got to stay on top of things. We've got to watch very closely of what's going on, because they're coming after our rights. Our Second Amendment rights are coming after it every day from every single angle out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I just don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. You know, I was hoping that this was kind of blow over, but it's just adding fuel to the fire. The media reporting out there is just adding fuel to the fire, because they report on every single little issue. They don't report on gang violence near as much now as they report on just one bad thing with a gun.
It's screwed up. You know, that guy, that Trayvon Martin case down in Florida, where the guy shot the 13 or 14-year-old black kid. You know, but then you have a couple of black kids shoot a white kid in the face in Brunswick, Georgia, and it has absolutely zero comments from the White House. You know, you just and it's not a racist thing. It's just an arms violence thing. Is my point. It just happens to be that the statistics are overwhelmingly in urban areas, especially. I mean, Brunswick's not an urban area too much, but. You know,
wrong one.
We're jamming here, but you know, it's just ridiculous. It's I don't want to get on all that too much this morning, but the good news is a lot of the senators are joined by at least one Democrat in ripping the UN treaty, you know, that John Kerry signed yesterday. So hopefully they'll do the right thing and keep any crazy laws out there. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back in 3 minutes.
Here we go again. Every time there's a food plot to be planted, Daryl's nowhere to be found. You see him, Ronnie?
He's probably in the truck eating a dang sandwich.
I'm sitting right here by this tree and they don't even see me.
Man, that Realtree AP was designed to blend hunters with their surroundings, not hide them when it's time to work.
I'm so hidden the scooters can't even find me.
Okay, Daryl, come on. We got to get this stuff planted.
What's that? Hey, stop it.
Realtree. It's so real, a coyote might pee on it.
Serves you right, you slacker.
The grill might be in storage, but that's what campfires are for. And the backyard party is on hiatus, but that's because everyone is tailgating. Only the seasons change, tastes don't, and when you've got Bud Light Lime, you don't need summer to have a good time. It's the superior drinkability of Bud Light with a splash of 100% natural lime flavor. Look for a Bud Light Lime and find your summer state of mind anytime. It's in the lime. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Lime flavored beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
What in the world is that noise?
Sounds like the transmission's about to come out of my truck.
Transmission? Sounds like Alien vs. Predator under there. Let's get it to Ronnie at Eagle Auto Repair.
Ronnie, I got a problem.
Problem? It sounded like Superman fighting the Incredible Hulk.
No, it was worse than that.
Come on, man. This is for real. I ain't got the money to be fixing no big problem.
Chill out, dude. You're at Eagle Auto Repair. You know we'll fix it right and as inexpensive as we can. We only use quality parts, and my guys are some of the best trained technicians in town.
Yeah, but can they stop a fight between Godzilla and King Kong? Because I'm betting that's what they're going to find under there.
Eagle Auto Repair.
321 Lakes Boulevard, Lake Park, Georgia.
Jones Welding and Industrial Supply has been serving South Georgia and North Florida for over 3 decades. With 9 locations in the South, Jones Welding and Industrial Supply is a full-line distributor for all welding and industrial supplies. The Jones mission is to provide quality products at a competitive price in order to supply the best service available. Jones Welding and Industrial Supply has built a reputation for good, honest, old-fashioned service. For a location near you, visit www.joneswelding.com. Jones Welding and Industrial Supply is a proud supporter of the good outdoors. It's that time of year. People everywhere will be scrambling to find somebody to take care of filing their taxes. Fast Tax and Bookkeeping at 1407 West Hill Avenue, Suite Q has a quick turnaround time and the knowledge to prepare your taxes properly, making sure you are getting what's due. With $25 1040 EZ filings, electronic refunds in a flash, military and college student discounts, and fast and friendly service, drop by and see Lisa Griffiths and the gang at 1407 West Hill Avenue, Suite Q, or give them a call at 229-253-0181 to schedule an appointment.
So you need a car, truck, or SUV? Look no further than Midway Auto Emporium at 4189 Bemis Road, Valdosta, Georgia. Cameron and Melissa Tucker has been serving the Valdosta area for over 7 years now. They are a family-owned and operated local business with hometown values and still believe in handshake deals. With a great selection of used cars, trucks, and SUVs, with a Carfax report on every one of them, along with bank financing at all credit levels and interest rates as low as 1.85% with approved credit. 4189 Bemis Road, or visit their website at midwayautoemporium.com.
You're listening to The Good Outdoors with Steve, Daryl, and Ronnie on 99.5 Kicks Country. Now, let's get back to the fun.
Welcome back to The Good Outdoors. Man, on a lighter note, Yosemite National Park asked us if the park should be open to paddling, like paddling sports and canoeing and things like that. Shoot, it ought to be open. It's a national park, dude. It's Good Outdoors. Get out there and enjoy it.
Well, while we still own it and we don't have to give it to China to pay our debt, we should go out there and enjoy it in any way we can.
The park's current policy is to prohibit boating on all rivers within the park except for a short segment of Merced and Yosemite Valley. I mean, really, get out there and enjoy it while we still have it, while we can.
I wonder why that's the case. I wonder if it's a liability thing.
I don't know. I mean, it could be. It doesn't really go in here and say, but you know, I think it should. I think you should open it up, man. Really get out there.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you, whitewater rafting and canoeing and boating, that's all great outdoor activities. Mm-hmm. We got a call coming in this morning, so we'll take that. Good morning, caller. You on there on the Good Outdoors. How are you?
I'm all right. How y'all guys doing?
We're doing good.
I just wanted to let y'all know, y'all got me so interested in turkey hunting. Yesterday, I had our boss at the company that I work for show me what a slate call was and a striker, and he stood out there with me for a long time showing me how to work it and stuff. This is so interesting to me.
Oh, he's a great guy. I can tell you already. I don't even know him, but he's a great guy.
He's doing a good job. Yeah, it is.
I love it. But I could have stayed out there all night listening to him.
It's very interesting. You know, when you think about it, I don't know if you know this. I'm sure he told you. What you're trying to do with that turkey call out there is you're trying to reverse the process of nature. That gobbler is used to making his noise and making that hen come to him. So what you're trying to do with your call is make the hen or make the gobbler come to you, which is it's in reverse of what is naturally designed to happen. So it's very fascinating when you think about it.
Yeah, I can't shoot. Like, I have an elephant could be standing in front of me 3 feet and I'd still miss it. I have really bad aim. And,
right, you got to practice.
Do what?
You got to practice. Go out to Southwind Sporting Clays.
Practice. No, I'm so bad my brother won't even let me touch the gun no more.
Oh, man.
And so I said, I'm going to give me some calls, though, and I'm going to start practicing, and maybe next year he'll let me go with him.
That's right. You at least call for somebody. That's the fun part of it is calling. I can tell you what, though, I've come to the conclusion for this year that I hate turkeys, and it's my lifelong mission to eradicate as many as I can. And evidently the turkeys do not like me this year because they will not even talk to me.
My brother's got the Duck Dynasty thing going on, where he said he's not shaving until he shoots the birds, so he's got a pretty good beard going there.
Yeah, he's liable to look like Grizzly Adams before he does it.
He might, I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to let y'all know, y'all got me very interested in this.
Good.
Well, we're good. We're doing our job then.
Yeah, y'all have a good day.
All right, thank you.
That's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing. That's why we're here right there, people. Get men, women, children, disabled folks, wounded warriors, anybody that's had a love for hunting in the past and hadn't went or has never been hunting. We want you to get out there. We want to help you get out there. So that's what we're trying to do, to strike up an interest. And, of course, the caller has got an interest in calling turkey, so hopefully she'll get practiced up and get to go do that, and she can go call for me anytime.
Oh, yeah, man. I tell you, it's an awesome thing. I love it. You know, I went yesterday morning again and had the same exact result I had this past weekend. I didn't hear a bird gobbling. I'm getting aggravated. I'm telling you, it's getting personal.
Well, you start it wears on you. Start thinking, man, is my calling stink? Or I mean, what's the deal here? What am I doing? Am I calling too soon?
It can't be my calling because I can't even hear one on the roost.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a little bit ticked off here, and I know the birds are there. There's no doubt where I'm hunting there are many birds there. If you don't believe me, go look at the tracks. Go look at the sign. It's there. The dust bowls, the scratching, the tracks. It's all there. I believe they've got the radio out there where they're at.
Yeah, they could be listening.
We're coming.
They could be listening. You know, they might be roosting close to a house that has the radio show on, and they know you're coming. It could be.
Something is going on. That's all I can tell you. And I am getting ticked off with it now. But, you know, we're going to get there.
Hey, there's a girl suspended from school 24 times for stinking.
What?
Yeah, she has a foul odor emanating from herself. An 8-year-old Tennessee girl has been sent home from school 24 times this year because of what her mother describes as her foul odor. The second grader's mother told the TV station that officials at the Washington County School continue to send the daughter home despite attempts to correct the problem. She's been to the doctor. It's not a medical problem. They send her home at least once a month. You go to school to learn, not to be sent home, she says. But evidently it's it's not a cleanliness problem. She's just emitting this foul odor that I can't figure out why. And I don't know. I'd hate. I mean, you talking about being a stinky kid in class? That sucks right there.
That really does.
And can't do nothing about it?
No, they've been to the doctor, and it's so overpowering and extremely offensive to other children and adults. So some sort of homebound program is what she's looking at until they can figure out what's making her stink.
That is strange.
Yeah, that's strange. That's a strange one.
I didn't read it a few minutes ago, but I saw another article about a kid that can only eat one type of food. I'd like to find that again. Every time he eats any other type of food, just one type. He eats any other type of food, he goes to hurling.
Well, all I know is if I get restricted only one type of food, I hope it's fried. I'll be all right.
Hey, man, we got Jeremy Pridgeon coming in about 5 o'clock this morning.
Yes, sir. He's talking a little bass fishing.
Yeah, he's going to talk a little bass fishing. We had some people asking about it, so I called Jeremy or texted him actually. And I said, "Hey, man, you want to come in and talk a little bit about bass fishing?" Shoot, yeah, man, I'm ready. So he jumped on it. He'll be in here this morning about 5 o'clock. We're going to cover some bass fishing. I actually went. Me and Ryan, after we got through turkey hunting yesterday morning, we stopped by a little old pond that he's caught a few bass in here and there, and we threw around and looked, and I seen a few beds up there on the edges of this pond. So I know they're getting ready. They got to be getting ready if they hadn't already went.
I bet them old if a fish feels like a pregnant lady, them juggers are miserable right now because everyone I see,
man, I guarantee you,
pictures posted, it's like they're about to pop.
Oh yeah.
So I tell you, it's got to happen, and it's been pretty warm. Now yesterday, I was over in Brunswick, and I think because of that wind off of the ocean, but man, it was cool over there.
Was it?
Oh, very cool. I mean, to the point if you were out, outside, you didn't need to be wearing shorts. That's for sure. And of course, I had to take Charlie with me, and lo and behold, he was wearing shorts. So but he didn't complain. He didn't complain any.
Well,
but it
was tough. He's not going to complain. He's out there having fun.
And I'm gonna tell you, spring break is a good outdoor activity, evidently, because St. Simon's Island was a log jam. I mean, I lived over there for 6 or 7 years, and I never have seen it like that. I think that a lot of the schools have gotten in sync and took their school or spring breaks at the same time, and everybody converged on the St. Simon's. I thought it was a wreck because I was backed up on the causeway there. I thought, well, somebody's wrecked up there at the roundabout because that's happened before. And no, it took probably a solid hour to just get turned around to get off of it. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Man, it's going full force, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean I would have hated to got down in the beach area and the pier area. Well, which I did. I took a ride and got down into the pier area. There was no parking whatsoever down there. It was ridiculous. Business is good in the village.
Yes, sir. Hey, you know what? I found a little something here, and it says that 12 million Americans believe lizard people run our country. Can you believe this? About 90 million Americans believe aliens exist. Some 66 million of us think aliens landed at Roswell in 1948. And these are the things you learn when there's a lull in political news when pollsters get to ask whatever question they want. So really? I mean, they think lizard people?
I don't know about the lizard people. That's a shocking statistic that 90 million people. That's a third, or at least a fourth. 1/4 of our total population believes that there's life out there.
Nope.
I don't have much of an opinion on it, honestly. What is going on with my computer? It's logging off on its own, so I don't know what's happening.
Must be an update coming on. I have an opinion. I have an opinion that I just don't have an opinion.
That's me. I don't really. How do you know? How do you really honestly?
You don't
form an opinion. There's no evidence unless you start thinking about the evidence at Roswell that we haven't seen. No. So we don't know if it's there or not.
Yeah, and I think that stuff's been around too long that someone would have leaked something.
You would think, as loose-lipped as we are as in a society. Somebody, and they have, people's come forward all the time with supposedly evidence of this, evidence of that. I just don't know. But let's take this call this morning. Good morning, caller. You on the Good Outdoors?
What's up, Texas?
How you doing?
Good. Going after him again this morning.
Are you really?
Yeah.
What about you, Ron? You think aliens exist out there?
I do not.
I don't either. So let's talk about turkeys. So you going again this morning? I'm not. I'm going to go back home and go take a nap.
Yeah.
Maybe you can. We never saw the hen yesterday morning.
What's that?
We saw a hen yesterday morning, so we know there's got to be some gobblers around there.
Oh, I know they're there.
So I think it's just me. They probably listen to the show. We have to get people to turn their radio down where it's not blaring outside their house, listening to the Good Outdoors, knowing we're going turkey hunting.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
The tip off.
I'm gonna be able to hunt the back side of that property too.
Well, good deal.
So I'll be in the back door then.
Well, get on them, man, and go kill one, and once you shoot him again for me. It was for me. That's for not gobbling yesterday morning.
Yeah. All right. Y'all take it easy.
Good luck, brother. We'll see you.
All right.
Oh yeah. Did you hear from Dirk? How'd he do yesterday?
Yeah, they didn't. They had one gobbling fairly close to him, but couldn't get him to come in.
And I saw where Treb killed one.
Treb did finally get one. They the 3-year quest there to shoot a gobbler on the old home place finally paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Got it called in there and made a good shot. And Eddie Buskey, the rodeo clown's son hunter, he killed his first turkey yesterday too. A nice one, had about 1 1/8 spurs and a 10-inch beard. So
good deal,
good one. So
yes, sir, I like it. Hey, we got to take a break. We'll be right back here on the Good Outdoors. Thanks for listening, everybody.
There's only one place in Valdosta if you want the freshest seafood in town. It's Bubba Jack's Crab Shack at 1700 West Hill Avenue. They got wild Georgia shrimp cooked about any way you could want it. Fried, peel and eat, grilled, or buffalo style. They got a Wednesday night oyster special at $7.99 a dozen, and that ain't no mistake. $7.99 a dozen, Wednesday night only. Bring the kids with you, and if they don't eat seafood, get them some chicken tender baskets or hamburger hot dog. And do not forget to try the fresh cut, hand-dipped onion rings at Bubba Jack's Crab Shack, 1700 West Hill Avenue, Valdosta. Val Optics on Patterson Street in Valdosta, Georgia has been providing 1-hour service for 25 years. From eyeglass repair to eye exams conducted by one of 2 on-site optometrists, Val Optics is there for all of your eyesight concerns. There is no need for an appointment, and most insurances are accepted. Val Optics also accepts outside prescriptions. So if you need eyeglass repair or an eye exam, stop by Val Optics at 601 North Patterson Street, Valdosta, Georgia. 25 years in business says it all. Service. It's a very simple word, but you'd think it's French. At Deep South Sanitation, our service will never be questioned. We are there when we say we'll be there. If there's a couple extra bags by the can, we pick it up. Deep South Sanitation don't care if the lid won't close. All the more reason to dump it. If you're elderly or disabled, the Deep South Sanitation team will get your can, dump it, and put it back. If trash blew out, we don't leave it, we pick it up. Keep the money you pay for sanitation services local by supporting Deep South Sanitation, a locally owned business. Call Carrie Scarborough today at Deep South Sanitation, 229-559-0200.
Moss Trim Shop is Valdosta's oldest automotive upholstery shop. From automotive to marine upholstery to convertible and vinyl top, Moss Trim Shop can cover all your sewing needs. Locally owned and operated by Bobby Brantley, Moss Trim Shop become Valdosta's oldest and best in the upholstery business by being a dependable, service-oriented, and on time with your project. So if you have an automotive or marine upholstery need, stop by Moss Trim Shop at 733 East Hill Avenue or give them a call at 229-242-8544.
So how you do it, son?
Hey, Ronnie, you know how much people love Austin's Cattle Company?
How much do they love Austin?
more than Charlie Daniels loves shredding a fiddle.
That's right. Everybody loves Austin's freshly hand-cut steaks. These award-winning steaks are cooked to perfection and served sizzling hot. Austin's Cattle Company was voted best steak, best hamburger, and best sports bar in Valdosta by you. So when you get a hankering for a hot heaping helping of our delicious baby back ribs, shrimp, chicken, prime rib, seafood, or world-famous steaks, head on down to exit 16 off I-75. Austin's. It's an addiction you never have to quit.
Austin, an addiction that you never have to quit.
It's the Good Outdoors on 99.5 Kicks Country. Now, let's get back to the fun, talking about everything to do with the outdoors with Steve, Daryl, and Ronnie.
Hey, welcome back. Talk about the Good Outdoors and people helping people in the Good Outdoors. In Washington State, a 911 dispatcher sends the mom to the rescue. It was a kayaking accident, and a dispatcher in Washington State called her own mother to the rescue a stranded boater in the Columbia River, knowing her mother could kayak to the area faster than sending the sheriff's officer patrol boat. Wow. The 45-year-old kayaker was hanging onto a log piling Sunday afternoon after her kayak sank in swift current near a jetty. And the woman was paddling with a companion when her kayak sank. And the companion left to seek help, and the woman held onto the jetty. And this says, notified the sheriff's department, realized her mother and the other members of the family lived nearby and could get there quicker. I knew they could be there within 5 to 10 minutes. So she called her. She jumped in the kayak and went out there and rescued the woman and didn't even require medical attention. So isn't that just awesome?
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you never know when you're going to be called upon with what you do in the Good Outdoors to help somebody. So this is a perfect example of it. Washington State. It's awesome. It's going on everywhere, man. Can't say enough about the Good Outdoors.
Yeah, as far as I know, there ain't no legislation in there to ban the Good Outdoors.
No, it ain't none to ban kayaks yet either. Yet, I might add. Now, Georgia City Council, they voted to require ownership in Nelson, Georgia, and they know they can't enforce this. They literally can't. They literally can't make somebody buy the gun. But the thought of it, just the thought of it. Look at what is it? What's the other city in Georgia?
Kennesaw.
Yeah, Kennesaw. Look at the crime rate there.
Yeah.
And the same thing pretty much virtually goes on there. The crime rate there is down to, literally nothing. It's going to be the same way in Nelson, Georgia. I would love to see that happen here. I really would.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think it's I think it's borderline idiotic what they're doing as far as the language of the law, though.
Mm-hmm.
When they say we want every head of the household own the gun, but you don't have to if you don't believe in it.
That's true.
That's just. Why are they wasting their time? What is? You can't even hardly say it's a symbolic move. Because what is it symbolic of? All it is a mirror of the way it is now. You either believe in owning guns or you don't. And if they're saying it's okay if you want to own a gun, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. Think of the time that they spent drafting the wording and this language and doing all this stuff. Why instead of doing that, they should have been working on a sewer project or something in that city. I think it's. I just think it's. I think it's crazy. Now, Chris Beckham yesterday, he covered this on his radio show on the sister station 105.9. He covered this very, very thing, and he posed a question out there that prompted me to call in that he thought, I ain't going to say he thought, he posed the question, should the states have individual power over governing the gun laws? And I fired in there, and I told him the answer is obviously overwhelmingly no, it's not. It's a United States thing because it is in the United States Constitution. It is the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution. Right. So you shouldn't have Georgia being 100% pro guns and any other state being 100% negative guns and causing that whole thing. The entire United States has the right to keep and bear arms, and it shouldn't be regulated by the individual states at all in any capacity, in my opinion. It's going totally against the Constitution. Unlike an amendment for should you allow gay people to be able to be married? That should be a state's issue because there's nothing in the U.S. Constitution that deals with it. So let each state deal with that law, but not the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution.
You can't do that with a Second Amendment or any amendment, any Constitution. any part of the Constitution.
And that's what I told him. Are you going to start your freedom of speech rights? That's the First Amendment. Or are you going to start letting the individual states say what you can say in public, as opposed to, in other words, you can talk about this in Georgia, but you can't talk about it in Florida? Mm-hmm. Of course you're not. It's an amendment to the United States Constitution. If you go down that slippery slope, then you're going to have, instead of one United States, you're going to have 50 individual mini countries.
Yep.
And that's not what our founding fathers intended. So I think that I don't know if anybody else called in after me, but I don't see how in the world you could turn gun legislation over to the individual states.
Well, you can't turn anything over to the individual states that's in the Constitution.
That's right.
That everybody's protected from.
That's exactly right. You
can't do that, and
it goes against everything that they tried to protect against.
You know what was accomplished here, though? What was accomplished with Chris Beckham covering that yesterday?
Made people think.
It's making people think and talk. Exactly right. It's putting it out there, and people are going through this and mulling it over and saying, it's there. People are starting to wake up and see just how much they're coming after our Second Amendment, and how strong. How strong it really is. A lot of this stuff is really supported. Mm-hmm. We covered these bills that are in there right now. Ever how stupid they are, ever how ridiculous they sound, they're still there, and they have to get to them at some point in time to vote on them to see if they sneak one through. It just opens the door. Yep. Just like the registering in Connecticut, the registering of a 30-round clip. Tell me one valid reason besides being able to come after them that you need to register. If I own a 30-round clip, I've got to register and say, hey, I've got one. Tell me one valid reason that the government wants to know that, besides being able to say, hey, that was the first step. We know they got them. Now they're banned. Let's go get Daryl's. Really?
Yeah, the gun register. Your gun is registered. If you buy a new gun, it's registered. They can track back who bought it. In the case of a crime, they can say, they can run the serial number, say this weapon was purchased at T3 or 8L Outfitters by Daryl Nichols. They go to your house and say, hey, we've learned that this 30-06 was used in a sniper massacre, and the DA in Texas. Well, yeah, I reported that gun stolen a few months back. So then they go to the Lowndes County Sheriff's Department. So those are all valid reasons to have a gun registered, which it already is, people. That's what you understand. Your gun, if you buy a new gun, your gun is registered maybe not in the terms that they want to say that it's registered, but there is a record, I should say, of the transaction, and they can trace that back to you. So that's a de facto registration. So if you're worried about your guns being registered, then you don't ever buy a new weapon, because it is. Yep. I got bad news for you. It is. Now what they're trying to do is expand the scope of that and try to have some sort of a record to where your gun, if you sell it to an individual, is tracked. Well, to me, there you go again. Mm-hmm. If it's a legitimate reason that you're trying to track down where this gun is, it was used in the commission of a crime, and they go through that whole scenario, and Daryl says, well, yeah, I sold that to Daryl Sample Jr. Well, where's he at? Well, this is where their argument comes in, and in the context of what they're trying to do, in the scope of what they're trying to do right there, it is valid. They want to know where Daryl Sample Jr. is, because now they're narrowing it down to try to find out who murdered this poor little 7-year-old kid, or whatever the case may be. That's all legitimate. I don't think anybody with half a brain would go against that train of thought. But the problem is there's a trust factor. Nobody trusts what the government's going to do with that information. But then again, you go back and say, well, the new gun's already registered anyway. So it gets into this convoluted mess to where we don't trust them, because they are trying to take our rights away. Not in that scenario, but in the scenario of in the context of other issues, they're trying to. So we don't want to give them that, because we're afraid that they're going to use that against us, and that's why we vote no.
That's right.
That's what every time, and it ain't even a consideration. Yeah, I can logically think that whole scenario through my mind, but the bottom line is it'll take me about half a second to vote no for any legislation or anything that comes on the ballot about that. It's not that I don't think that's probably a common sense approach to an issue. It's because I don't think that's what they're going to stick with.
No, it's absolutely not what they're going to stick with. It's not. It's just a first step.
That's exactly right.
That's all it is the first step. You give them an inch, they take a yard.
If I didn't look on that website or know the things I know, if I didn't see all that on that website and there was no talk of people like Dianne Feinstein wanting to set a council up in another country to analyze our Second Amendment rights, I mean, I wouldn't feel that way. But it's out there, and you see it, and people like that organization and the NRA keeps us informed on what's going on, and that molds the way we think.
That's right, National Gun Rights.
But just as soon as they realized that they're not going to pass this bill through Congress, it's dead. I mean, it's gone. But it ain't over, because just as soon as they realized that wasn't going through, they started other things. They started on the ammunition. They started on making you have to supply insurance. If you're a gun owner, you have to have insurance, and if you don't, they want to fine you $10,000. It's just like your car insurance. They require you to have car insurance, which is not, necessarily a bad thing. I'm not saying it, but you're required to have the car insurance, and if you don't have it, then they suspend your license, and I guess there's probably a fine. I don't know, but I don't think it's $10,000. But what they're saying is if you have a gun and you're caught having a gun, they run your name and they see that you don't have that insurance on that gun, they fine you $10,000. And think about it also. What do you got to do to insure your gun? You have to have a record of that gun, and here you go again. Now they've got a list of everybody that's got a gun by being able to pull the insurance records, just like they can tell if you've got a car. Guess what? When it's time to renew your tag, what happens? You get a tag notice in the mail. They know you got that. They know you got that car. Well, now they're trying to make it to where you're going to get that notice in your mailbox that, hey, you got to register your gun or make sure your gun's got insurance, or our records indicate your insurance is about to lapse on your gun. If you don't send proof of insurance in, we're going to fine you $10,000. Right. Come on, people. Do you really want this going on?
You don't.
And it will if you don't stand up and vote against it and rise up and write your congressmen and your senators.
You got to. You got to pay attention. NationalGunRights.org. That's one place to look at some of the laws that's trying to be passed. It's a great place, great website to go to, so y'all check them out. Hey, we'll be right back here on the Good Outdoors. Thanks for listening, everybody.
With over 40,000 machines in the field, the pro's choice is Dixie Chopper. Be a pro. Buy a chopper. Built right here in America with one simple goal. Build a mower that cuts more grass and doesn't break when you use it. Be a pro. Buy a chopper. With Chopper's price, performance, and reliability guarantee, make the smart choice. Be a pro. Buy a chopper.
We're running out of time. We're drawing the line. This is our battle cry.
Huntin' is Good TV is an action-packed hunting show with a mission to secure our hunting heritage. Join Steve Nichols, Trey Weatherington, and Neil Armati each week as they hunt across the U.S. and Canada with pro athletes, actors, wounded warriors, kids, and regular old Joes who know hunting is good. Huntin' is Good TV airs on Pursuit Channel and is available on Dish Network Channel 240 and DirecTV Channel 604. For more info, visit huntingisgoodtv.com and follow on Facebook at facebook.com/HIG TV show. You can also use your high-speed internet connection to watch online by logging on to filmon.com at the airtimes posted on our website. And remember, hunting is good.
This is our battle cry.
Just-A-Mere Farm is a full boarding, training, and lesson facility conveniently located on Valdale Road in Hayhire. Just-A-Mere Farm offers a facility like no other in the area with many amenities to meet all your equine needs, whether it's riding, training, or boarding. If riding is your passion, Just-A-Mere has you covered with an indoor arena, a large lighted outdoor arena with an alleyway, a large jump course arena, a round pen for training, trails, and access to dirt roads. Private and shared lessons are available, so give Just-A-Mere Farms a call today at 229-460-2331.
So Dawson, is Dad still ill about you calling him out on his shooting ability?
I don't think so, but I have seen him on the range a lot more lately.
Dad always says practice makes perfect.
That's what he says, but I don't think it works for adults.
Why do you say that?
Well, from the look of the scorecard, it's making it worse.
Dawson, bring me some more shotgun shells.
Okay, Dad.
If you need some practice, come by Southwind Clays and Quail on the Quitman Highway just past the river headed towards Quitman. With a top-notch clubhouse, a 5-stand, sporting clays range, as well as a rifle and pistol range, Southwind has what you need to succeed. World-class quail hunting is also available with some of the finest bird dogs around.
Dad sure shoots a lot.
Yeah, if he keeps this up, Mom's gonna be mad.
Why is that?
Because he's spending all Mom's shopping money on shotgun shells.
It's the Good Outdoors on 99.5 Kicks Country. Now, let's get back to the fun, talking about everything to do with the outdoors with Steve, Daryl, and Ronnie.
Welcome back to the Good Outdoors, man. We got a few minutes left before Jeremy Pridgeon graces us with his presence. Tell us a little bit about bass fishing, what he's been doing, and where he's been, and what he thinks the fish are doing right now locally. I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready to get going with it.
I wouldn't mind, doing a little fishing.
I know I would too.
I ran into Wes at Harvey's the other day, our cousin Wes, and he told me that he was in negotiations with his wife to buy a bass boat. And I said, well, when you get that worked out, let me know. I'll help you keep it working real good. So yeah, we had a good laugh there as we always do. But he said that she looks at it as a justification. Well, what you gonna do with this bass boat? Because you're gonna have to enter some you're going to enter some bass tournaments and win them and win some money to justify paying for it. And me and Wes started laughing, and I said, well, you need to go ahead and nip that in the bud and go ahead and get out there now. That this is a dead end here. When you buy the boat, it's totally going to cost money. There's no way you're going to make money with it. And I said, you need to get that out there now, because the two greatest days in a person's life has always been said is the day you buy your boat and the day you sell it.
That's right.
That's about the way it goes. We had one where Dad did, and then we, now we regret ever selling it, of course. But he had it. We were all fired up. We bought it. We went, a lot of times, and then kind of the knee rubbed off of it. It just kept sitting there till one day he just flippantly told me, I'm thinking about selling that boat. And I said, well, I didn't really want him to sell it too much. Next thing you know, that son of a gun was gone.
Yes, sir.
We've missed it ever since.
But a boat, you spend a lot of money. There's a lot of upkeep on a boat. You got to take care of it. And we were talking yesterday, Donnie from work, his son Chris went fishing. They went down to Keaton yesterday. I think they limited out 3 of them. I believe they limited out on trout and things yesterday. They actually had a pretty good day.
Yeah.
And they spent all day on the water, limited it out, had the right size and everything, had to call several fish. They had a pretty good time. But you always have to spend, you got to do upkeep on the boat. You got to do upkeep on it's a vehicle. You got to do upkeep on it. So you're going to spend money. So, yeah, you're not going to make a whole lot of money with it unless you get somebody like Jeremy Pridgeon that knows exactly what he's doing when it comes to bass fishing.
Yeah, I believe Jeremy might have been able to offset some of his costs through the years, but common fella like me ain't. It's a dead end for me.
You see, Richard Peterson put a picture up here. It was funny. He's got a man sitting. He's ice fishing. Well, he's not ice fishing. It's a man. He's all bundled up there, and he's got this big old snowman built, and the snowman's holding the rod and reel with 2 fish laying down there at the snowman's, where his feet's supposed to be. But he's holding the rod and reel going down into the ice, and the hole in the ice. And he's got a game warden walking up beside him, says, fishing license? Why would I need a fishing license? I'm not fishing. I don't believe that worked out very well for him, though. That's pretty funny.
That's something I would do.
There's a lot of ways to try to get around it. I just don't think you're going to do it. But yeah, man, bass fishing, that's something, I love to do. Went with Ryan yesterday for a few minutes, and that was fun. We didn't catch a fish. We didn't stay 10 minutes. We just cast a few times while we were right there. He had some rod and reels in his truck. And I realized just in that 10 minutes how much I miss it. How much I miss being able to just to kind of go anytime I want to have a pond like we did right now from Mom and Dad's, Aunt Lynn and them's, Donna Sharon's pond right there, and be able to go down there anytime I want, fish, catch a fish or not, just to get out there. I miss it. I need to get back into it.
I like it too, and your kids, it's a good thing to take your kids, just like Daddy always took us. We'd sit there in the back of the boat and probably scared away more fish than we caught for sure, but we went, and that's the thing. But yeah, I'd like to get back in. We were sitting there at Easter talking to Pat, and reliving some of the things we did. It just made me want to go, you know. And he made the comment, you know, that he wished that he could still go, but
yeah, he hadn't got to go near like he used to get to go.
Yeah.
And you know, we are just so, you know, we're so busy nowadays.
Oh yeah.
And we can't get to it. It's the problem.
There's just too much life in the way now.
Slow down.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I think about this here lately a lot. You know, I guess as you get older, you know, you spend so much time, the hustle and bustle, you know, of trying to keep your head above water and make a better way, and you start thinking, you know, I'll never forget at Jim's grandfather's funeral, you know, the guy that gave the eulogy there, he was talking about how Mr. Rogers said you can't take it with you, you know, and he made a joke, and he said that he wanted everybody to know that he is taking it with him. He had a check in his breast pocket there, made out to him, you know, but it was a joke, a lighthearted moment. But it's true, you can't. It is all the stuff that we want and you know, that we want to accumulate. You know, it's all fun to have a nice big bass boat and stuff like that, but it's more than the bass boat. It's the good outdoors. It truly is. It's being able to take your family and your children out there to enjoy the outdoors, whether you're fortunate enough to have that big bass boat to do it with, or you just get out there and fish off the bank. It's not the toy, it's the time. So
yeah, and
get your kid out there and have a good time. It doesn't cost. You don't have to have all those things. When I come through Lakeland yesterday at Banks Lake, that dock out there, the guy was loaded with people sitting there fishing off of it, and some just looking. When we passed down there at the pier at St. Simon's Island, I wanted to find a spot to park and walk Charlie out there, but it just didn't work out. But the thing was filled with people on that pier. Some were fishing, some were just sightseeing, some were just out there on the pier looking out over the water, watching big cargo ship go by, you know. And it's a good thing just to get out and get outdoors. Around the beach is a good area. So,
yeah, it is great area. And you go out to these piers and stuff, they're loaded all the time, man. I mean, everywhere you go. We went to Jacksonville here a solid month ago, and the pier was just absolutely loaded with people. You know, it was just, and they were out there fishing, and like you said, some of them were fishing, some of them were just sightseeing, watching people fish, bird watching. I mean, all the birds up there on the piers and everywhere. Some of them pretty mean looking too, but
oh yeah,
man, it's just a great thing to do. Get outside and get to fishing, and I think we've got somebody that's in the studio this morning that knows a lot about fishing. We're going to probably get to him right after the break, let him get kind of tuned in with us a little bit. But there's no better activity out there than to carry a kid fishing. You know, just like Steve, you do it on your deck all the time. You know, the kids are involved, and get out there and just have a great time with it. There's nothing wrong with it. Thank you, Jeremy. It's just, what kid does not like fishing? We got a fishing event coming up here.
Yeah, speaking of Banks Lake, ironically, I just said, you know, the dock was full of people out there, and there's a 13th annual Banks Lake National Wildlife Refuge Youth Fishing Derby coming Saturday, May the 11th.
Wow.
It's at Flatlanders Lake, Lakeland. Where is Flatlanders Lake? Is that
Flatlanders? It's right behind the fire station. It's a little small, pond there that they stock for this kids fishing tournament, derby.
Yeah.
And we have it there, and then everything else after that we move over to Banks Lake Pavilion over there, and then the National Wildlife Refuge officers and everything out of Okefenokee area come over, set up tents, and have all kinds of activities.
Yeah, I see on your activities list worm grunting.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
I have seen it. Yeah,
done it.
I've done it. Yeah.
Know how to do it.
Pretty cool.
I don't think I was successful when I did it, but I have done it. But yeah, worm grunting, knot tying, casting, live music, fishing derby awards ceremony, student art bag awards, live animals, face painting. That's always a hit among the kids. A raffle, fishing theme arts and crafts, and it says you can bring a T-shirt or purchase one for $2 to create your own work of art. Sounds like a good thing. Looks like it's got some good support too. The Lakeland Lanier Chamber of Commerce and Banks Lake Outpost.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife is the big one that helps out.
Yeah.
They're from like I said, the Okefenokee area,
And matter of fact, we had a meeting Monday night at our fishing club, and Miss Gracie Gooch is the kind of heads this up for them, and she was at our meeting and went over everything, and it's going to be a blast. Last year we have right at 200 kids.
Wow.
That come participated, and I mean it's fun for everybody.
Man, that's good. Yeah, it says you can register the day of the event from 7 a.m. to 7:45. There's it goes by age categories. The weigh-ins are at 9 a.m. for the 3 to 8, 9:30 for 9 to 12, and 10 for the 13 to 15-year-olds. So
good event.
Anybody 3 to 15, come on out 7:45 to 10 a.m. behind the fire station in Lakeland, Georgia, and get your fish on, man.
Yes, sir, man. That'll be a good event.
Yeah,
we'll keep 13th annual. Jeremy, how long have you been participating in this?
I believe this is my 5th year.
5th year.
Yeah.
Wow.
And every year we've had at least over 100 kids that I can remember, and I think they've pretty much had that just about ever since they've started.
Yeah.
They give away all kind of giveaway, just little giveaways, and everybody brings their own fishing equipment and bait and that kind of stuff, and they stock that little pond with catfish and brim every year for this event. And there's some of the guys in our club that live out there in Lakeland, and they go by and they feed them a couple weeks prior to it just to get them ready,
so chummed up,
so the kids can catch a bunch of fish.
Yeah, I've actually went on a nuisance gator removal in that little pond. There was a believe it or not, it's not a real big pond there,
right?
But evidently they swam up through that. There's a culvert that goes under the highway there. I'm sure you've seen it, but 9-footer. Yeah, it was last summer with Donnie Bartow, the Gator Man.
So did you do like the Swamp People show? I mean, did you
I
get
stayed
in there and trap them and wrestle them and that kind of stuff?
No, sir. I stayed back about a good 25-30 feet away from the scene with the camera there. But no, he hooked it with a Zebco 808 and a big treble hook and reeled it in, lassoed it, taped his mouth shut, and relocated him.
Wow.
Like it wasn't nothing.
No, not me.
Yep.
I don't believe I could do that. Hey, we're going to take another break here. We're going to come back and cover some bass fishing with Jeremy Pridgeon here. Tell us what's going on and other things he's involved with.
Welcome to the studio, by the way.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, a little bit late for that, but we just throw him under the bus when he first got here. We'll be right back in just a few minutes, guys. Thanks for listening.
Attention Outdoor Nation. Adel Outfitters, located at Exit 39 on I-75 in Adel, Georgia, has over 18,000 square feet of outdoor unbelievability just waiting on you. Specializing in a wide range of outdoor supplies for everyone, including hunting, fishing, shooting, kayaking, camping, Little League, clothing, knives, boots, you name it, Adel Outfitters has it. They also have that personal one-on-one attention that you just might not be getting from some of the big boxes, and Adel Outfitters has a whole lot less overhead, so you'll be surprised at the deals. So come see us now at Adel Outfitters, Exit 39, Adel, Georgia. Woo-wee! Sweet Tea's Smokehouse on South Hutchinson Avenue, Adel, is the bomb. You ain't had good old South Georgia barbecue if you ain't been to Sweet Tea's Smokehouse. Ribs, chicken, pork, beef, good grief, this is some fine eating. And it ain't called Sweet Tea's for nothing. Ice cold sweet tea and good old barbecue plate with all the trimmings is what living in the South is all about. Head up Highway 41 north towards Adel. Swing into Sweet Tea's Smokehouse for lunch or dinner. Great southern barbecue like it's supposed to be, and don't forget some of that fine Brunswick stew. Woo-wee! Hi, I'm Barry Broom with Allstate Insurance Company. I'm a big fan of the great outdoors. There are many recreational activities that allow us to enjoy God's creation. There's boating, camping, hunting, hiking, fishing. Think about all the gear, equipment, and vehicles that we have that make those times outdoors so memorable. When it comes to protecting and insuring your firearm, your boat, RV, camper, four-wheeler, even your golf cart, think of me, Barry Broom, your Allstate agent. Call me at 229-244-9856 or visit me online at barrybroom.com. Go make a memory. Enjoy your great outdoors.
The grill might be in storage, but that's what campfires are for. And the backyard party is on hiatus, but that's because everyone is tailgating. Only the seasons change, tastes don't. And when you've got Bud Light Lime, you don't need summer to have a good time. It's the superior drinkability of Bud Light with a splash of 100% natural lime flavor. Look for a Bud Light Lime and find your summer state of mind anytime. It's in the lime. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Lime flavored beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Brigman & Brigman Cabinets in Hayhira, Georgia specializes in custom-built cabinets. You can come in and sit down with our staff and start from scratch to develop the perfect cabinet layout, or bring in your plans and start there. From design to installation, Brigman & Brigman can help you every step of the way. Estimates are always free, and your satisfaction is our goal. Whether it's a remodel, a spec house, or your custom-built dream home, give Brigman & Brigman Cabinets in Hayhira a call at 229-794-2108 to set up an appointment. Crystal River Seafood on St. Augustine Road in Valdosta is a fine seafood dining experience. Folks from miles around come in to enjoy the fine seafood and friendly atmosphere Crystal River has to offer. Their friendly staff makes your dining experience one to remember, as well as one to repeat. Fish like grouper, salmon, mahi, catfish are always great choices, along with shrimp, oysters, crab cakes, and crab legs. Hey, you not in the mood for seafood? Order a juicy ribeye steak. Crystal River Seafood is open for lunch and dinner. Crystal River Seafood, 958 St. Augustine Road, Valdosta, Georgia.
WKAA, Willacoochee, Valdosta.
More country.
More country.
More country.
99.5 Kicks Country is my radio station.
99.5
Kicks Country. It's the Good Outdoors on 99.5 Kicks Country. Now, let's get back to the fun, talking about everything to do with the outdoors with Steve, Daryl, and Ronnie.
Welcome back to the Good Outdoors. I'm going to give a shout-out this morning to Rusty McDonald from Leesburg, Georgia. He's tuned in listening to us. And Demery Godwin, he's out there listening, and appreciate that. And appreciate y'all checking in with us this morning. We got Jeremy Pridgeon in here going to cover a little bass fishing, man. Jeremy, you been fishing any tournaments here lately?
Actually, we have. The TBF, which is the kind of the FLW side of club fishing, we had a top 6 tournament at Eufaula 2 weekends ago, and we was up there Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and the tournament was actually Monday and Tuesday. And as a club, the Valdosta Bassmaster, we finished 3rd out of 40 teams.
Wow, good job.
And also the Lowndes Club, the Lowndes Bassmasters, they finished 4th. So we had two clubs out of Valdosta here that finished, in the top 5, and which was really, really good for us. And we had one individual who made the state team, and in our club, and so did the Lowndes Club. Had an individual made the state team. So it was a good tournament. Lots of participated. There was 240 people in the tournament, I believe.
Man,
I didn't do quite as good as I wanted to. I think I finished 24th, but that's how it goes sometimes. But practice days were awesome. It was warm. It was nice. Fish were moving up, and then all of a sudden Sunday night it got 30 degrees and the wind blew 30 miles an hour. So it happens.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Yeah, well, you got to learn to adjust. I mean, it's kind of like deer hunting, but fishing is a lot different.
It is. Monday it wasn't quite as bad because the water temperature hadn't got a chance to come down a lot. But the wind made half the lake unfishable. A lot of people was running down south, and there's a little bit cleaner water down there. They were running down south, and it about made it impossible to get down there and get back on Saturday with a 30-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah,
you get 3 to 4 foot waves in that place, and it can get ugly fast.
That's tough. I've been on that lake when it was blowing like that. You're not going to get nowhere fast.
Oh no, not at all. Or dry.
Or dry. You're right.
What you got coming up?
We got some little bit of local stuff, club stuff coming up. Don't have anything big. There is a big FLW Ever Start at Seminole starting tomorrow, and that'll last through Saturday. Other than that, just some local stuff, local club stuff. There's little tournaments that's going to go on. We got to open, I believe, in July at Banks Lake. Fort of Valdosta Bassmasters is going to be a fundraiser for us, and we get 20 or so boats out of that one every year, and that was always fun. We do some raffles and that kind of stuff. But it's good camaraderie with people around here.
Oh yeah, always.
Now, Banks Lake, you were talking about Banks Lake. What do you like to fish with? What lure have you had success with in Banks Lake?
Well, a lot of people throw worms. Trick worms out there, lightweights, that kind of stuff. And then a lot of people throw frogs. Frogs is a good lure, a big fish lure out there. And I've caught one 8 and some change out there on a jig, swimming a jig. So there's been a little bit of everything out there. It's a tough fishery at times, and but when you catch them, there's some big gigantic fish in there.
Yeah, good deal. They let that water down quite frequently, and it keeps the vegetation beat back pretty good. It's become a lot clearer than it used to be, hasn't it?
That's right. The water clarity of that place is, it's always had a dark stain like all your cypress ponds do, but it has gotten a lot clearer because of the vegetation has been, kept to a minimum. I like vegetation myself. More vegetation, the more fish, I always say, but.
That's true, but it aggravates me because it cuts down your lure selection tremendously when you have a lot of coontail moss and stuff like that, and duckweed, and you throw it into. But there is a lot of fish in there, but not going to throw a crankbait up in there, are you?
Oh no, you don't fish crankbaits too much in banks. You can get some shallow running crankbaits and that kind of stuff, but nothing, deep diving or anything.
Got to get down in that stuff, get that big boy out.
Yeah, I've got a couple of friends that fish banks quite often, and they do pretty decent over there, but it's just like you said, it's hard to fish. It's either hit or miss. They either catch them or they don't.
That's right.
Can you still fish at night over there?
I'm not positive. I'm not a big fan of fishing at night because I can't see anything.
Yeah.
But
that makes sense.
I like to be able to see what's going on, and especially in banks, they got a bunch of them big old dinosaurs roaming around.
Well, the reason I said that is years ago, a lot of people would go over there with glow bugs catching big old brim.
We did it.
But since since it's become a national wildlife refuge, I was just wondering if they had limited the night fishing. I hope they haven't, but because I love that. I went over there a couple of times, and that is a lot of fun. It's aggravating, like you said, because you can't see, of course, at night. But ain't that like charging that old glow bug up with your flashlight and flipping it out on the end of a brim buster and watching or hearing a big old
there you go
bluegill crank that thing up, man.
Come up there, top and pop it.
Yeah, that's good stuff there. That's a good fight.
Yeah.
Well, tell me what's your opinion. We've had a lot of people asking us about bass, when they're going to go on to bed, if they've already gone on to bed, water temperatures local. Your opinion, just some of the local ponds here. What do you think?
Well, I tell you what, we've had a crazy off winter, and there's a lot of fish that if we get a few days of warm weather, and we have in the past, a lot of fish go up there and try to make beds, try to clear off some areas and start the spawning stage, and then they get knocked off with a cold front that comes through. There's been several times that we've been out fishing and seen fish on beds, and the next day they're gone because it got 30 degrees that night.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, the stages of the bass right now, I still think you got some pre-spawn bass. You have some spawning bass, and you got post-spawn bass. So I think you got a little bit of everything out there right now. The water temperatures around is in the high 60s, mid to high 60s, especially the last couple of days. It's been warm here, and you may even see some 70-degree stuff. But
what's it take? 68 to 72, somewhere around in there for a bass to want to go on to bed.
About 65, 63 to 65 is a good range where you can start seeing them moving up, and then when the big females come up, they're in that range, and a lot of times they're not there very long. They may be there a couple 3 days, and then they're gone. So that's why I say I think you got pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn fish out there right now everywhere.
Right. Well, good deal, man. I know the pond we was at yesterday, I saw several beds. Wasn't any fish on them at the time, but I know they'd already, you could tell they've already made the beds. Don't know if they laid yet or not. I had no idea, but just like we were talking the other day, the shallower the water, the quicker it's going to warm up.
That's right, or the quicker to cool down.
And quicker. Good point.
I was reading here.
Right back off.
I didn't really know this. Talking about things that can affect the spawn. Obviously, the water temperature we were talking about, but it says here that the water level itself affects the spawn, even if the temperature of the water is right.
It really can. You can get some of the bigger reservoirs. For example, we was up at Eufaula. We had some heavy rains a week or two before our tournament up there. And then, Sunday night when that front moved in, it rained here for 2 solid days, and up there it rained 1 solid day, and that'll raise the water levels of the lake. And then you got the Army Corps of Engineers who's working the dams, so they're trying to level it out too. So water levels can make play a big part on where them fish go. The higher that water is, the more shallow they go up into the trees and that kind of stuff. When you may not even be able to get in there.
Yeah.
If it'll stay, at a certain water level give or take a little bit, they're able to get in there, spawn, and get back out. We caught fish. I caught fish from 17 foot of water up to, where you see the tail of your worm sticking out of water. Wow. So it was amazing, the different water levels and depths of where we could catch fish.
And also, I would imagine on a reservoir that big, the water temperature in one side or end of the lake can vary pretty good from one end to the other. And you got some fish may be spawning in one area and not yet or already have in the other. And
that's right. I mean, we got the reason a lot of people ran down south, the water was a little clearer down there, so it warmed up a little faster. And then up the river, it was more dirty. And so up the river, we practiced one day up the river, and we had anywhere from 56 to 59 degrees, when down south they were looking at 62 to 65. So when you get that kind of swing, you can have spawning fish down south, pre-spawn up north, and vice versa. I mean, it's that's right.
So the clear,
I get confused. I don't know where to.
So did I understand you right? The clearer the water, the warmer it is, and then the more stained it is, the colder it is.
That's right. That's right. The sun penetrates that clearer water a lot faster than it can warm up some muddy water.
Gotcha.
So huge temperature swings. And like I said, we caught fish anywhere from I caught fish in 17 foot of water up to where your bait was almost sticking out of the water. It was so shallow. But and like I said, water clarity was a big one too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And with all the rain we've had, probably is keeping a lot of the local ponds mucked up, muddied up. I did notice that our swamp behind our house is clear now. It finally got enough time to clear up. So hopefully the water temperature get warmed up, and
just in time for this rain to come back in and muddy.
Yeah, that's right. I tell you what I have seen lately, though, just in general, is a lot of turtles moving across roads and stuff. That's usually a sign that spring is truly upon us. That they've gotten their cold-blooded temperatures up enough to become very active. And
you want me to tell you how to tell when spring is actually here? Take a ride through some of these back roads, these fields that have just been planted, in these rows, and look for the alligator drag marks where he's dragging his tail along, because when it gets warm enough for them to get out and start breeding, it's springtime.
Now, the way I always tell for sure that spring's here, I just look on the calendar and I look for March the 20th. And that's when I know it's here.
Officially.
Yep. But,
maybe 20 degrees that day, but it's here.
That's right.
It's supposedly here on the calendar anyway.
Yep.
There's a lot to fishing, man, as I didn't know. A lot of things that affect bass fishing. We got a call coming in. We're going to have to wait after the break to take this. We'll be right back here on the Good Outdoors and talk a little bit more about bass fishing with Jeremy Pridgeon. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Service. It's a very simple word, but you'd think it's French. At Deep South Sanitation, our service will never be questioned. We are there when we say we'll be there. If there's a couple extra bags by the can, we pick it up. Deep South Sanitation don't care if the lid won't close. All the more reason to dump it. If you're elderly or disabled, the Deep South Sanitation team will get your can, dump it, and put it back. If trash blew out, we don't leave it, we pick it up. Keep the money you pay for sanitation services local by supporting Deep South Sanitation, a locally owned business. Call Carrie Scarborough today at Deep South Sanitation, 229-559-0200. It's that time of year. People everywhere will be scrambling to find somebody to take care of filing their taxes. Fast Tax and Bookkeeping at 1407 West Hill Avenue, Suite Q has a quick turnaround time and the knowledge to prepare your taxes properly, making sure you are getting what's due. With $25 1040 EZ filings, electronic refunds in a flash, military and college student discounts, and fast and friendly service, drop by and see Lisa Griffiths and the gang at 1407 West Hill Avenue, Suite Q, or give them a call at 229-253-0181 to schedule an appointment.
SWAT Graphics, located at 300 South Toombs Street, is the area's #1 graphic design service company. Specializing in graphic banners, stickers, signs, and design, SWAT Graphics can help from concept to completion. If you have a design idea for a company logo, SWAT Graphics can bring it to reality. Maybe you have a logo and just need it placed on a sign, sticker, or banner. Whatever the case, stop by SWAT Graphics at 300 South Toombs Street, Valdosta, or give them a call at 241-9185. SWAT Graphics, proud sponsor of the Good Outdoors.
Moss Trim Shop is Valdos's oldest automotive upholstery shop. From automotive to marine upholstery to convertible and vinyl top. Moss Trim Shop can cover all your sewing needs. Locally owned and operated by Bobby Brantley, Moss Trim Shop becomes Valdos's oldest and best in the upholstery business by being a dependable, service-oriented, and on time with your project. So if you have an automotive or marine upholstery need, stop by Moss Trim Shop at 733 East Hill Avenue or give them a call at 229-242-8544.
There's only one place in Valdosta if you want the freshest seafood in town. It's Bubba Jack's Crab Shack at 1700 West Hill Avenue. They got wild Georgia shrimp cooked about any way you could want it. Fried, peel and eat, grilled, or buffalo style. They got a Wednesday night oyster special at $7.99 a dozen, and that ain't no mistake. $7.99 a dozen, Wednesday night only. Bring the kids with you, and if they don't eat seafood, get them some chicken tender baskets or hamburger or hot dog. And do not forget to try the fresh cut, hand-dipped onion rings at Bubba Jack's Crab Shack, 1700 West Hill Avenue, Valdosta.
Justamere Farm is a full boarding, training, and lessons facility conveniently located on Valdale Road in Hayhire. Justamere Farm offers a facility like no other in the area with many amenities to meet all your equine needs, whether it's riding, training, or boarding. If riding is your passion, Justamere has you covered with an indoor arena, a large lighted outdoor arena with an alleyway, a large jump course arena, a round pen for training, trails, and access to dirt roads. Private and shared lessons are available, so give Justamere Farms a call today at 229-460-2331.
You're listening to The Good Outdoors with Steve, Daryl, and Ronnie on 99.5 Kicks Country. Now, let's get back to the fun.
Welcome back to The Good Outdoors. We're going to take this call right quick. Good morning, caller. You're on The Good Outdoors.
Yes, sir. I would love to hear what you guys can comment on regarding the moon and how it affects the fish biting.
Mm-hmm.
And just while we're on this subject, and if you guys were going to get to that, I apologize. I just want to make sure. I'd love to hear what you had to say.
Well, we've got the perfect man to answer that question.
Yeah, I got a comment on the moon. We're going to let Jeremy comment on the moon.
Hey, we appreciate you calling. We're going to get right to it. You want to stay listen, or you want to listen on air?
I'll just listen on air. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you calling.
So Jeremy, how does the different phases of the moon affect the bass bite?
Well, everything I've kind of seen and studied and looked at a little bit, you know, of course, when you're talking about the spawn, the full moon has a huge it makes the fish move up.
Mm-hmm.
At nighttime they can see. You got a full moon. It's easier for them to move up in the shallows. So when everything's right, your water temperature, your water levels, and everything, you know, everybody looks at, you know, if you got a full moon coming, you know, you can expect the big females to move up and spawn. And then also on a new moon, I think you know, fish bite better, you know, just for me personally, on a new moon and a full moon.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in between, you know, it could be hit and miss, you know, depending on everything else. But I'm a big fan of the full moon. I like to fish it. I like to fish around the full moon.
So okay, I got you. So during the given month of the moon phases, you really like to be on the water when the moon is at its very darkest and when it's at its very brightest.
That's right. I really do.
Good deal. Good information there. I know it differs a lot from actual hunting and stuff, but you know, a lot of people, you start talking about the moon in hunting, and a lot of people avoid the full moon like the plague. Whereas I've had some of my best success on the full moon.
Yeah, I have too.
But the point is, I guess during the 30-day span there again, you don't stay home when it's not a full moon or a new moon. You still go because you're a fisherman. But good deal. So
that's pretty interesting about the moon phases, how that affected. Now I know we got a call coming in. Let's go ahead and take it this morning. Good morning, caller. You're on Good Outdoors.
Good morning, guys.
What's going on?
I got a question for Mr. Jeremy there.
What you got?
You talking about fish being able to see. If you're someone as of me not being able to afford a fancy fishing boat and have to fish from the bank, do you have to? If the fish can see, does that affect them biting? Is that true, or is that a wives' tale?
I don't think that's true, you know, altogether. I just think the full moon, what it does, especially during the spawning phase, is allows the water to brighten up a little bit where they can move up in the shallows and that kind of stuff. I don't think it's a huge thing where, you know, you're fishing from the bank and you got the moon behind you and they see your shadow or anything. I just think it allows them to come up in the shallows a little bit and spread out and actually, you know, start the spawning cycle.
Cool. All right, guys, y'all have a good day, man. I just want to holler at you.
I appreciate it, Chuck.
See you, buddy.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I know that if you're actually fishing at night, I would think that if you got a real big bright moon beaming down on the water and you throw a big old something with a pretty big profile to it, like a jitterbug, a musky jitterbug, that's a big bass lure at night. It creates something, visual, maybe somewhat, that the fish can see, contrasting against the brightness of the moon. And but I used to fish a lot at night, especially in Brunswick, and we would go. It didn't matter what the moon was. We'd go on the darkest of nights and still do just as good, because they hunt by the movements of the water, the vibrations in the water, and things like that. But we did do better on a full moon. I can tell you that unequivocally at night.
What about like sight fishing, fish on the bed in your boat and all that? I've heard a lot. If the fish see you, sometimes they won't bite. It's kind of a hard thing to really. It's hard for me to grasp. But hey, there's a fisherman in that boat. I don't need to bite that lure.
Well, I think it more or less is they can tell you're there, and something's not like it normally is. A bass boat pulls up and you're 5 feet from the bed. Now, it's if they're locked on the bed, meanings that a lot of times you can put a lure in there and they may swim away and they come right back and then they're focused on that lure. A lot of times they won't pay attention to you. You can be 3 feet away from them if you want to. At other times when they're not quite locked on, when they're still kind of roaming and they're around the bed, they're just not really at that certain stage where there's either eggs there or there's about to be a big female move up. Then they'll pay attention to their surroundings. They're knocking off bait fish just coming around. They don't want anything to get in that little nesting area. And I think if you pull up there in a boat and you got a big profile in the water and they can
oh my God, look at that fish coming up here.
They're like, a whale. That's exactly right. They're like, what in the world? But that makes a big difference. A lot of times you got to stay. You got to stay 20 feet away from them, and a lot of times you can be almost right on top of them.
Well, when you're sight fishing, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when you go to some of these tournaments and things, early in the mornings you're fishing more shallow water. Is that like a correct assumption? Would that be?
Yeah. If you're bed fishing a lot of the times, you may be in 2 or 3 foot of water, 1 or 2 foot of water all day.
So you kind of early morning. I would think this is how I fish. I like to bass fish early in the mornings. I like to top water bass fish on the edges, close to in these farm ponds, not in these bigger lakes on tournaments or anything, because I don't fish a tournament. But I like to top water fish early in the morning when the bite's better. The bass seem to be feeding better early morning or late afternoon, and it's kind of like sight fishing. You see them coming up in there moving. What are some of your top lure choices for like first thing in the morning?
I love top water. I mean, there's nothing like seeing a bass come up there to eat something on top. Some of my top choice baits, I guess you could say, Stanford lure, shallow running crankbait. Like almost a wake bait where it's making a wake on top. Anything on top of poplar. I mean, that's a well-known lure, and it catches tons of fish. And anything's got a little cup in the front that'll make a little bit of a splash when you're jerking it and that kind of stuff. And then I love a frog. Yeah. A frog on top, a spro frog or something like that, or even like a soft bait like a zoom horny toad or something like that on top is man, a frog bites. You can get on a good frog bite.
Ooh. We covered some funny names last week at some fishing lures. You just said several that was just could be
some funny stuff there.
Oh, there's some out there that's amazing.
God, it gets crazy.
If you found, let's just say you had to pick one lure, only one, and you were in a lake and there was a 17-pound bass on the bed, and you could fish him all day or whatever you wanted to do, but there's only one lure you can take with you. What's it going to be?
A white jig.
A white jig. You're going to throw that white jig in that bed.
Fast.
Yeah, you didn't even hesitate. So the white jig, you're going to dump it in the bed, and how you going to do it? What you going to do there?
Well, I mean, I put a little trailer on the back, little swimming tail trailer, something like that. And I like a white jig when bed fishing, and the reason is I can see it.
Yeah.
Whether it's a little bit stained water or clear water or whatever it may be, I can see that lure sitting on that bed and when that bass may take it.
Right.
And a lot of times sight fishing is not feeling, it's seeing them. It's actually seeing them take the lure and when to set the hook and when not to set the hook, when they may have just the tail in their mouth, when they don't have any part of the hook, or they got the whole thing in their mouth. But a white jig to me on bed fishing, that's what I like to do.
So you're going to camp out pretty close to the bed. You're not going to be casting from 20 yards.
No, if I can see them on the bed, like you're talking about that big giant 17-pounders on the bed, and I can see her, then yeah, that's my lure. That's my go-to.
So you're going to just kind of flip it, try to ease it into the bed.
That's right. I'm gonna not try to make a big splash, and it may take a while to catch her, and you may have to aggravate her to death, but. She don't like that. She don't like anything sitting on her bed.
Let me tell you, 17-pound bass on the bed on the edge. I'm not fishing with a rod and reel. I'm getting me a deer stand, 30-06.
Yeah.
I didn't say that out loud, did I?
That's one way to do it.
Wow.
Snatch hook.
DNR might not like you.
Maybe they wasn't listening right then. Hey, it's back when younger. I do not fish anymore, by the way. I haven't fished in years. So.
Yeah. That's one of those things that'll stick with me because you spat that answer out really quick, so it'll be ingrained in my memory. I'll have to go over to Fisherman's Paradise this afternoon and get me a white jig.
Dave's got them over there. Dave stocks a lot of stuff over there. He's one of my sponsors, Stanford Lures, and matter of fact, they're in Cuthbert where they make the lures.
Mm-hmm.
And when we was on the way to Eufaula a couple weekends ago, we stopped in and seen them up there, and some heck of a nice guys, and a crazy lure process. It was amazing how they brought out these basically 4x2 sheets of cypress wood, and the end product is a lure. So it was really neat to see that process, and I thank the guys over there. But it was fun. But yeah, lizards. Plastic lizards, that's a go-to for a lot of people when fishing beds, and because a bass can't stand a lizard on a bed.
Oh God, I can imagine.
So there's a lot of different ones. People like different things, and that white jig to me is just a good bed fishing lure.
Are there any spider lures? I mean, like really the shape of a spider? I hate spiders, by the way. I'm just kind of curious.
I don't think so.
Good. They ain't good for nothing. I just kind of was wondering.
Because they got the water spiders.
I don't care nothing about a spider, Daryl.
Well, all I know is I don't trust a lizard neither.
I don't.
I don't want a lizard near my bed. They're creepy looking little things.
That's right.
And they can't. It's funny, a lizard can't bite you. Do any damage at all. But for some reason, when that joker opens his mouth and tries to bite your finger, you will jump.
Oh yeah. Just like anything else.
Yeah. We used to clip them on each other's ears. Let them bite the earlobe and all that.
That is so funny. Yeah, I pulled up Stanford Lures here and was looking at them. All cedar lures, made from cedar. That's pretty neat. They paint them and everything there.
They paint them and everything there. He took us through the whole little process, and it was amazing to see it done.
Pretty nice, man. Y'all pull them up. StanfordLures.com. StanfordCedarLures.com to be exact. Sorry, I was a little bit wrong there. Trying to pull up the spring catalog and see what they've got to offer. Hey, we'll be right back here on The Good Outdoors. Thanks for listening, everybody.
With over 40,000 machines in the field, the pro's choice is Dixie Chopper. Be a pro, buy a chopper. Built right here in America with one simple goal. Build a mower that cuts more grass and doesn't break when you use it. Be a pro, buy a chopper. With Chopper's price, performance, and reliability guarantee, make the smart choice. Be a pro, buy a chopper.
Austin's Cattle Company's menu is so big and delicious. In order to fit everything in, we had to write a song about it. So take it away, boys. 'Cause we got hand-cut steaks and taters, too big food tastes better than your grandmother's pound cake. Hallelujah, didn't reach the sky, just load it up and pile it. How we got prime rib, seafood, salad, and baby back food so good it'll make your lips smack. Austin's Cattle Company's where you gotta go when your stomach gives you an attack. Come on in and settle down, and you'll be treated like the king of town. Order up your favorite meal and turn that sad pound upside down. I guarantee you'll slap your knee when you eat it. Austin's Cattle Company. Just head on down Austin's. Woo, that's good. So there you have it, folks. Next time you get a craving for something tasty, stop on by Austin's at exit 16 off I-75. There's something on the menu for everyone, and they serve big portions so you'll never leave hungry. From seafood and prime rib to the freshest hand-cut steaks, chicken, and ribs you can find. Austin's Cattle Company is truly an addiction you never have to quit.
Tune in to 99.5 Kicks Country from 4 to 6 a.m. Monday through Friday to listen to the Good Outdoors crew. We talk about everything in the outdoors.
From hunting, fishing, camping, to boating and horseback riding, with an emphasis on getting kids outdoors. Heck, we even talk about big feats and outhouse escapades. You never know.
Join us for a good laugh and how-tos and why not. You can even call in live.
That's the Good Outdoors, weekday mornings from 4 to 6 on 99.5 Kicks Country.
And like us on Facebook at The Good Outdoors with a Z and thegoodoutdoors.com.
Attention Outdoor Nation. Adel Outfitters, located at Exit 39 on I-75 in Adel, Georgia, has over 18,000 square feet of outdoor unbelievability just waiting on you. Specializing in a wide range of outdoor supplies for everyone, including hunting, fishing, shooting, kayaking, camping, Little League, clothing, knives, boots, you name it, Adel Outfitters has it. They also have that personal one-on-one attention that you just might not be getting from some of the big boxes, and Adel Outfitters has a whole lot less overhead, so you'll be surprised at the deals. So come see us now at Adel Outfitters, Exit 39, Adel, Georgia. Woo-wee! Sweet Tea's Smokehouse on South Hutchinson Avenue, Adel, is the bomb. You ain't had good old South Georgia barbecue if you ain't been to Sweet Tea's Smokehouse. Ribs, chicken, pork, beef, good grief, this is some fine eating. And it ain't called Sweet Tea's for nothing. Ice cold sweet tea and good old barbecue plate with all the trimmings is what living in the South is all about. Head up Highway 41 north towards Adel. Swing into Sweet Tea's Smokehouse for lunch or dinner. Great southern barbecue like it's supposed to be. And don't forget some of that fine Brunswick stew. Woo-wee!
You're listening to The Good Outdoors with Steve, Daryl, and Ronnie on 99.5 Kicks Country. Now, let's get back to the fun.
Welcome back to The Good Outdoors. I want to jump in here and do the absent nut weather report right quick. In honor of Ronnie Colbert, who's still out sick again today. I hope he gets feeling better soon. It's 54 degrees outside. Today, we have a high of 77 degrees with a 70% chance of rain. They're talking about PM showers coming in this afternoon, probably around, starting maybe around 3, but around 5 or 6 o'clock is even more of a chance. So, low of 60 tonight, high of 75 tomorrow with strong storms and 100% chance of rain tomorrow. And Friday, 30% chance of rain, a low of 62 Thursday night. But, yeah, we're going to have a 100% chance of rain, they're saying, Thursday. That's pretty good. Strong storms, so be prepared for them. Winds about 5 to 10 miles an hour. So got some weather coming in. That ought to affect the bass pretty good, or the fishing.
It will.
They ought to be biting good this morning.
That's right. She could be out there today.
So Ryan, you need to hang up the turkeys for this morning and go on out there to the bass pond and see if you can catch some fish, because they'll be biting.
Or just do both. Go ahead and blast you one quickly off the roost, and then
there you go.
That's when the plan comes together right there now. I remember first turkey Trey ever killed. We were actually fishing out there in Clyateville. We were on the Cypress Pond. You know where I'm talking about, Daryl.
Yep.
We were on the Cypress Pond fishing, and he went back there turkey hunting. We heard the blast, and he come back, was up on the dam and lifted the turkey up. He was so proud of himself, had about a 10-inch beard, and but we were out there catching them old fish. I didn't care about no turkey at the time. I was bass fishing. That was a good place to be too.
You know, I don't turkey hunt, but and the only reason I've never started is because it takes away from my bass fishing.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. It's all priorities, you know. I guarantee you this: if you call me up and said, "Man, I've been hammering the 5-pound bass. We've been catching 10 or 12 every time we go," I'll go do that over the turkeys. That's just me. Now, Daryl, he'd probably take the turkey, but.
Yeah, my priorities in order is turkeys. It ain't time to fish. You know, the only reason I fished for 10 minutes yesterday morning is because the turkeys. We're not talking. I hate turkeys, by the way. I don't know if I told y'all that. It's a personal vendetta now. It's done got personal with me.
So when you going back to get him?
I started to go this morning, but I'm not. I'm going to wait until probably Friday morning. Either Friday morning, definitely Saturday morning, definitely Sunday morning.
I mean, that turkey, and it's just too easy, Jeremy. I mean, I've only went one time this year, and you know, we went and we killed 2 right off the bat. So I don't understand the big deal about it.
Nothing to it.
It ain't nothing to it. It ain't nothing. It's like falling off a log.
I can't even hear a turkey gobble. I don't know if they listen to the daggum radio, know I'm coming or what, but you know, I don't know.
That's what it is.
All jokes aside, it can be a very frustrating event to go turkey hunting. I know last year it was for me. Every time I was behind the camera, them suckers would come right in and get the heads blown off. But you put me in front of the camera, silence. You could hear crickets chirping. Nothing.
I'm about to call in the Army or somebody, you know, call in Al Dodds or something. Something's got to give. I even went with him one day last week, and the same result, nothing gobbled. So I just don't know if it's me.
You need to change
I don't know if I stink
It's
or
your
what.
scent control. That's got to be what it is. The turkeys are smelling you.
You know, I even went yesterday morning, first thing, without a gun with Ryan, just said, hey, you know, I'm just going in here to try to call. Hoping I'd call him one, and I can't even call one in for anybody else. So it's, I don't know. I may hang it up. Look, I'll give you 2 more weeks, Jeremy, then I'm going fishing with you. How about that? If I ain't done no good, I am going fishing. Stanford Lures, man. I've been checking them out while we've been talking. They got a lot of baits to offer. That's pretty good looking lure there.
They make a awesome crankbait. When we was up there, he took us to his house, which was right around the corner, and said, so I got this new prototype, and he said, here, toss it in the swimming pool and see what you think. So he's got a little test facility there we used, and it was a wake bait, which was a crankbait that stays on top that creates a big wake, and man, it was an awesome one too. And he said it'd be coming out soon. I tried to steal it from him, but he wouldn't let me get away with it.
Now that wake bait, you retrieve it pretty slow or fast, or is it dependent on the conditions, or generally is it a slow presentation? Or
it is probably pretty, generally a slow presentation. The really neat thing about it is the slower you reeled it, the wider the wobble got, and that's more vibration, more everything else in the water for the fish. But it was I'm excited about it. It was an awesome lure.
Yeah, maybe you can sneak one into a tournament early before everybody else gets
hold of it. That's right.
I got that. When you go to, let's say that you have never been to a lake and it's a big reservoir. Okay, you know, let's just say it's in Texas, Arkansas, wherever you get invited to go. You've never been to the lake. What is your process to sit here and think about how you're going to fish it and where you're going to go? You don't know nothing about it. I assume you do as much research as you can prior to going there.
Right.
But how do you, I mean, you know, I've been to these lakes. I remember going to bass fishing the Lake Eufaula over there when Dad had his boat. I took off over there. I don't even, Daryl might have been with me or Daddy. I don't even know. But we decided to go over bass fishing. And, you know, we didn't catch a fish. And we come back to the dock, and I thought, well, they're not biting. But crap, boat after boat come in, and they had plenty of fish. So my point is they knew where to go and how to fish. So when you're going to it and you're going to learn that lake, how do you, especially in a tournament, you got to perform. So how do you go about plotting a strategy? What's your mindset going into that situation?
Well, like you said, the research beforehand is a big key. You know, with the internet, I mean, Google Maps, Google Earth, you can look at a lot of stuff on lakes that you used not be able to. They relied more on maps than anything else, and we still rely on maps too. But you know, when we get to a lake, it depending on time of the year, you know, if water temperature, if you know the spawns around, then you're automatically gonna go up shallow, and look for fish feed, and look for fish on beds, and then the bait too. You know, you got to find the bait. If there ain't no bait around, most of the time there ain't no fish around.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, you know, time of year, you kind of got to know what's going on that time of year. You know, if it's in the dead summer, and it's, you know, 95 degrees out there, your cooler water most of the time is going to be deep. So, you know, then you might want to look at the ledges out there. So you start with some of them, and you know, it's a lot, you know, tournament fishing, and especially practice for tournaments, is a lot of eliminating water.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's, you know, we eliminated all kinds of water up there. But then, you know, while you find some fish and you may get a few bites in the area, you're not thinking about, well, dang, I should be over here, because you've eliminated that in practice, so you know you shouldn't be over there.
Yeah. Right.
You know, it's tough, and that's why they call it fishing. I've been out there plenty of days and not got a bite. And then I've been out there when I've caught fish and nobody else has. So, you know, there's a lot that goes into it. They really are.
Yeah, I saw at the Bassmasters Classic, there was a couple of people at the bottom that didn't catch any fish at all. You know, and they obviously were excellent fishermen to be in the Bassmasters Classic. So
well, I you know, the national championship I went and fished, I was, you know, I finished third in the Southern division, and the guy who actually won, who made it to the Classic, you know, he caught one fish the entire tournament. It was the biggest fish of the tournament, which is like a 7-something pounder. But he caught one fish, and that was it. And he's a excellent fisherman. He's up in Tennessee area, but you know, it's just, some people can get on them at certain times, and other people can't. But And that's why tournament fishing is so fun and interesting to me. Is, you know, like I said, you can go out there and get skunked, and A, it can make you not want to fish anymore, or B, it can make you want to get better.
Yeah,
and I always take that B approach, and you know, I love it. I love it. You know, and it's a passion of mine, but it's a challenge. It really is, to get out there and a lot of times, you know, you're not fishing against nobody else. You're fishing against them little creatures that's swimming down there in the water.
That's exactly right. You know, it's impressive when you look at people like Kevin Van Dam, who consistently brings it. You know what I mean? And it's all about knowledge. It really, you know, like you said, it don't matter where in the United States, doesn't matter where you go, what body of water. It's knowing the consistencies that are always present, like the time of the year, the water temperature, you know, is there a front coming, you know, what the fish are supposed to be doing. Then you go eliminate the areas that they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing in, and then you go. I guess if it wasn't for those couple of days of practice prior to the actual tournament days, it'd be even worse on you.
It'd be really tough. You know, they got a new series out called Major League Fishing, and supposedly them guys aren't allowed to practice. Now they can practice a couple months before the actual tournament, but there's no lead up to practice days.
A couple of months probably don't do you a whole lot of good.
And
really.
That's exactly right. And that was their premises, I think, of putting this together. But you know, they can get out there and whack them with the best of them, and then there's a lot of them get out there and don't catch anything. But that whole pre-practice, you know, that practice time before the tournament is very crucial.
Oh yeah.
How many times have you been fishing, and it doesn't matter if it's a tournament or just fishing anywhere, and you've just stumbled upon the bait or the presentation that the fish want? I mean, just you've thrown everything at them, and all of a sudden you just stumble on something.
All the time.
Yeah,
I'm sure. It really happens. I was down when I was living in Orlando. We fished Toho a lot, and I was flipping some grass around the edges, and you know, I heard something and turned around and happened to look out there, and there was fish busting on top of the water out in the middle of the lake. And I said, man, what the heck's going on? So I eased out there and got out there and started catching some fish. Well, they just kind of shut down. They wouldn't do anything. And I was like, there's got to be something out here on the bottom, whatever it may be, that they're holding on, or a pile of bait or something. Well, anyway, I'd broke out a Carolina rig, which is a real good search bait, by the way. And there was a big shell bed out there. And they were holding on the shell bed. And like I said, this was out in the middle of nothing, where you wouldn't even think to fish. And that's where the fish were sitting at, and I think I proceeded to catch 100 fish or so. It was unreal.
Good gracious.
And I fished it for about 3 weekends after that. Yeah. But you know, little things like that, you can stumble on stuff all the time.
Well, it's just like over at, you know, I think Nichols Lake. You said there's going to be a tournament over there this weekend or something. There's a hump out there that our uncle Pat discovered, and of course that's a shallow lake, right. But just a subtle feature of a hump. He knows, or did know, where it's at. I don't think he could find it now if he had to, but he somehow accidentally found it. Yep. And it always held bass. They caught, I think Lloyd caught a 10-pounder off that hump, but it's just knowing those little things like that. And, you know, if it's out in the middle of the water with no markers, I mean, there could be a mecca out there.
Oh,
you know?
Absolutely. And there's been plenty of times where, you know, you got a relatively flat place, and then all of a sudden there's a hump, and they could be loaded on it.
Yes, sir.
I know right where a hump is down there at Occidental. If I could just get back in the lake now, it was always good for 10 or 12 4-pounders in a day's fishing.
Yes, sir. No doubt. And like ledges are also just as good. Yep. Hey, we got to take another break here, but we'll be right back on the Good Outdoors.
So, Dawson, is Dad still ill about you calling him out on his shooting ability?
I don't think so, but I have seen him on the range a lot more lately.
Dad always says practice makes perfect.
That's what he says, but I don't think it works for adults.
Why do you say that?
Well, from the look of the scorecard, it's making it worse.
Dawson, bring me some more shotgun shells.
Okay, Dad.
If you need some practice, come by Southwind Clays and Quail on the Quitman Highway just past the river headed towards Quitman. With a top-notch clubhouse, a 5-stand, sporting clays range, as well as a rifle and pistol range, Southwind has what you need to succeed. World-class quail hunting is also available with some of the finest bird dogs around.
Dad sure shoots a lot.
Yeah, if he keeps this up, Mom's gonna be mad.
Why is that?
Because he's spending all Mom's shopping money on shotgun shells.
Hi, I'm Barry Broom with Allstate Insurance Company. I'm a big fan of the great outdoors. There are many recreational activities that allow us to enjoy God's creation. There's boating, camping, hunting, hiking, fishing. Think about all the gear, equipment, and vehicles that we have that make those times outdoors so memorable. When it comes to protecting and insuring your firearm, your boat, RV, camper, four-wheeler, even your golf cart, think of me, Barry Broom, your Allstate agent. Call me at 229-244-9856 or visit me online at barrybroom.com. Go make a memory. Enjoy your great outdoors.
Jones Welding and Industrial Supply has been serving South Georgia and North Florida for over 3 decades. With 9 locations in the South, Jones Welding and Industrial Supply is a full-line distributor for all welding and industrial supplies. The Jones mission is to provide quality products at a competitive price in order to supply the best service available. Jones Welding and Industrial Supply has built a reputation for good, honest, old-fashioned service. For a location near you, visit www.joneswelding.com. Jones Welding and Industrial Supply is a proud supporter of the good outdoors. Val Optics on Patterson Street in Valdosta, Georgia has been providing 1-hour service for 25 years. From eyeglass repair to eye exams conducted by one of 2 on-site optometrists, Val Optics is there for all of your eyesight concerns. There is no need for an appointment and most insurances are accepted. Val Optics also accepts outside prescriptions. So if you need eyeglass repair or an eye exam, stop by Val Optics at 601 North Patterson Street, Valdosta, Georgia. 25 years in business says it all.
So you need a car, truck, or SUV? Look no further than Midway Auto Emporium at 4189 Bemis Road, Valdosta, Georgia. Cameron and Melissa Tucker has been serving the Valdosta area for over 7 years now. They are a family-owned and operated local business with hometown values and still believe in handshake deals. With a great selection of used cars, trucks, and SUVs, with a Carfax report on every one of them, along with bank financing at all credit levels and interest rates as low as 1.85% with approved credit. 4189 Bemis Road, or visit their website at midwayautoemporium.com.
It's the Good Outdoors on 99.5 Kicks Country. Now, let's get back to the fun, talking about everything to do with the outdoors with Steve, Daryl, and Ronnie.
Welcome back to the Good Outdoors. This is our wrap-up segment brought to you by Southwind Sporting Clays and Quail out Highway 84 East, headed towards Quitman. Garrett C. John Peak and the guys for all your outdoor activity needs. If you want to go out there and shoot your rifle or pistol, they got a rifle range, a pistol range, a sporting clays course, 5-stand, birthday parties. They got it all, man. If the weather gets bad while you're there with these summer storms that's fixing to start happening in the afternoons, go to the clubhouse. Just hang out for a little while. Great place to be, man. Can't thank them enough for supporting the Good Outdoors.
No doubt about that. T3 tip of the day has to do with turkey hunting, since we're in the middle of turkey season. I know Jeremy's talking about bass. We'll give a turkey tip is simulating a wing fly down sound with your hat. You can beat it on the side of your leg when it's time for that turkey to fly down. Do a fly down cackle and take your hat and whoop it on your leg. It sounds like a turkey coming down, and hopefully you got your decoy that you purchased at T3 sitting out there, and that joker ought to fly right down in your lap. Easy, over with, done. You can get on back to the Waffle House. So ain't nothing to it. T3 on Perimeter Road.
Unless you're hunting with me, and then you don't even hear them gobble.
Yeah. I don't think you've been doing a wing fly down with your hat. That's
what it is.
Well, maybe you're not doing it right. You got to do it right-handed with your left eye closed, standing on one leg.
I'll try anything once.
Well,
all your change in your right pocket.
Another T3 tip of the day: do not go with Daryl.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
That's where I was going with that.
That may be the most important tip.
That's right. That's right. Somebody's got to do the absent nut weather report. And,
I already did.
Oh, you did it already?
What? You weren't listening again, really?
I must not have been. I didn't know you
Almighty.
did it.
He was asleep over there.
I must have been deep in thought or research about something over here.
He just wasn't listening to me again. That's what it is.
Now that I mention it, now that I think about it, I did hear y'all say something about rain.
Yep.
Matter of fact, you asked when the rain was coming in because, anyway, we're going to leave that one alone.
He was thinking about them 5-pound bass.
That's what I
was. Actually, I'm sitting here thinking, man, I need to go fishing. I was actually thinking about a specific pond a while ago, wondering if there were still any bass in it. I know it got real low, when the drought was there. But I rode by it, I think over the weekend or sometime recently, and it was full of water. And I was just curious in my mind at the time. I wonder if there was still any fish in it, or did the old pond birds get them all out of there when it got so low?
That's something something I've always thought about over the years. When ponds get low like that, do all the fish just go out of them if they get I know they do. They'll die and birds will pick them up. But I always see people fishing in them again 2 years later.
That's because they didn't see it when it was a drought.
It might be. Yeah. I've never seen
there wondering why they're not biting.
That's right.
Man, these fish, I used to catch fish here all the time, and they just ain't biting lately. Because there ain't nothing there, you idiot.
That's right. Do you fish a lot of local ponds? Just
a little bit, not a whole lot. But yeah, we'll go fishing local stuff around, and I tell you what, there's one that's in Lake Park that everybody knows about, but nobody thinks about fishing in it. Is Twin Lakes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got some awesome fish in it.
Oh yeah,
mm-hmm.
It sure does. I fished several of them down there, and there's some good fishing in them. Good brim fishing, good bass fishing, speckled perch, shell crackers, you name it. And there's so many lakes in Lake Park, man. Just
there's a bunch
scattered around. I forgot the number that was down there, but there's so many. Hammock Lake's a good one. You have to live on Hammock Lake.
Cypress Lakes is a good one.
Cypress Lakes is a real good one. Sure is.
Grassy Ponds out down there. If you can get in there, I mean, they got some giant fish in that one.
Enoch Lake has got some good speckled perch fishing in there. I used to catch some in there.
Yeah, I hadn't been to that one in a while.
I think it's a private one. I think you got to live on it too, but good fishing. It's not hard to find a pond to fish in. But you know what happened when we got our boat, when Dad got our boat and we started using it, we pretty much quit fishing smaller ponds because you couldn't get the boat in it. So there's a little bit of a downside of it there. We got a call coming. We'll go ahead and take the call. Good morning, caller. You're on there on the Good Outdoors. How are you?
Good morning. It's Chad. How y'all doing?
Oh, we doing good, Chad. What's happening?
Hey, I got Jeremy there talking about bass fishing, humps, and ledges.
Oh, yeah.
I want to just let you know that, of course, he knows, too, that there's a lot of saltwater fishermen out there. And you get in that big ocean, you find a ledge or you find a hump, and you're going to find some fish.
You dang right.
We were just talking about down at the Keys. I was telling him about a hump that's down there.
Daryl, if you want to go turkey hunting, well, you might hear one gobble. I'll take you, buddy.
Hey, I'm ready. Where'd I meet you at? Where you want to go?
Chad, you ought to saw him. He about jumped out of his chair when you said that.
Yeah, he liked that.
I'm ready. I'm having some trouble this year now, I'm telling you.
I was lucky enough Saturday morning to shoot one with my bow with spot and stalk. I didn't know if I'd ever be able to do that, but I was able to get him.
I saw that on I saw that on Facebook, and I was going to send you a text when I was on my way home last night about 7:30. I said, no, he's probably eating, but I don't know. What are you doing this morning? I've got clothes in the truck,
I'm heading to the office right now, but
work's overrated. Really,
yeah.
Work is overrated.
You got to get your priorities in order.
Well, the boss man, Mr. Bill, he sets my priorities Monday through Friday.
Mr. Bill, if you're listening out there, buddy, old pal, old friend, we
need a pass.
I need some help here, man, and the weather's going to be too bad for the next couple of days. I'm just kidding.
Spot and stalk with a bow. I'm impressed.
Awesome.
Now, how far was the shot?
Right at 25 yards.
25. That's really good there, man. That's awesome. You are the master.
No, I had everything working my favor.
Yeah. The wind was right. He couldn't smell you. That kind of thing.
That's it.
Good deal, man. Appreciate you calling, Chad.
Good morning.
All right, you too, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, if you can spot and stalk a turkey with your bow, you might be an Indian.
I'm going to wait one more weekend, then I'm going to start calling in some favors.
Yeah,
or I don't know if I owed any favors, but maybe I can swap some work for some hunts or something.
Go wash some cars or whatever.
Clean the yard.
He's not quite ready to push the panic button, but he's getting close.
I'm getting aggravated. This became personal. I'm telling you.
Yesterday when I saw Treb's picture of his turkey, he's 11 or 12 years old, and then Eddie's son Hunter, he's 8 years old. He got him a nice turkey, and I'm sitting there thinking, dang, 2 kids have got turkeys, and I ain't got one yet. What's wrong with this picture?
I see it every day when I look at my Facebook page, and I'm getting tired of it.
Yeah, Facebook's evil when you hadn't killed a turkey. Brutal.
Yeah, it's all good. It's going to come full circle. And
well, the good thing is you can, if you get on into the Georgia season, you hadn't done it, and it's about to close. It's still open out in Kansas and Nebraska, so you can save up your pennies and travel out there and keep on trying.
Yeah.
It's easy to shoot a Merriam's turkey. I don't give a crap what nobody says. You can't shoot a Merriam's, you can't shoot, period. Yeah. That's literally like shooting fish in a barrel.
I'm just trying to do what I can afford right now, and I can't afford a plane ticket.
You can hitchhike.
Yeah. Stick your thumb out.
Or just run. Forrest Gump run.
I do have a friend that goes out there all the time, Mr. Ron Landis. I may have to be, really nice on him. He'll go in April. He'll be out that way, so I may have to hitch a ride with him and his plane.
There you go. He's got a plane. He can drop you right off. If he's even flying over it, you can parachute out of it.
I want to see that.
Yeah, I don't know how you'll get back.
There ain't no need in jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. If I ever parachute, I'm going to have a water hose with me and an extension cord, because if my parachute don't open, one of them's going to catch something before I hit the ground, guaranteed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that plan at all.
I ain't jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. There ain't no need in it.
You really. Like B.A. Baracus on the A-team.
I don't mind getting in one. I just ain't going to get out of it when it's flying.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah, I see Ron Jones the other day. He posted pictures of bass. His boys up there on the dock fishing. I just run across that again. But yeah, man, it's great activity. Jeremy, I mean, when you're going out fishing, all you like to take kids or get kids involved, I'm sure, don't you?
Oh,
I mean, you
absolutely.
do, because you know you're helping with this fishing derby over there in Banks Lake, or not Banks Lake, but at wherever it was at.
Behind the fire station.
Yeah, behind the fire station.
Flatlanders
Lake.
But I'm sure you love to get more kids involved.
Oh, absolutely. I got a 4-year-old that, begs me every time I go out the door, can I go to the tournament with you? Well, not yet, but
it only gets worse.
I take him down to my dad's, and we went a couple weekends ago, and we caught a few fish, and he was ecstatic. So, but yeah, kids, getting kids out there is one of the main goals, and they are the future, and
yes.
And to keep everything going, you got to teach them.
You sure do. You got to get them involved, man. You got to get them involved, because you said the magic words. They are the future of everything outdoors that we do. We have to keep them involved and keep them up to date on what's going on, so they can grow up and fight to be involved with the outdoors just like we are every day.
Shoot, even Michael Jackson knew that children were our future. 13th Annual Banks Lake National Wildlife Refuge Youth Fishing Derby, Saturday, May the 11th, 2013, of course. Children ages 3 to 15. Registration's at 7 a.m. to 7:45 a.m. There are 3 different age groups: 3 to 8, 9 to 12, and 13 to 15. It's at the Flatlanders Lake, right behind the fire station in Lakeland, Georgia, along State Highway 1. That's on the Valdosta Lakeland Highway is where that is, and then they'll migrate over to Banks Lake for some fun activities, including worm grunting, knot tying, casting, live music, several things. That's from 9:30 a.m. to noon.
Worm grunting.
And food.
And food, yeah.
Got my attention.
Going to put some hot dogs on the grill. So y'all go check that out again. That's May the 11th at Flatlanders Lake.
I want to throw this out there. I met a guy a couple of weeks ago, Richard Peterson, that wanted us to cover more bass fishing and more fishing. So, Richard, there you go, man. Appreciate you tuning in and listening this morning.
We'll keep trucking. So y'all have a good day in the good outdoors. Y'all get out there and beat that rain. Get you some fishing or turkey hunting in, and give us a full report on Facebook. We'll see you back here in the morning.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
You've been listening to The Good Outdoors on 99.5